Hey there. So this one's kind of an important one, but I do want to preface it by saying it's not meant for everybody. If you don't know this is a real possibility for you, then don't take this. You can still, watch, take it in, as far as like understanding this knowledge that I'm going to share through the experience that I've had and the wisdom I gained through it. But there is someone here that may come upon this at some point, and who needs this information, who needs to understand that this is happening in their situation. And it's interesting because, some readers are very ritualistic about creating a container for them to do the readings in, right? They're thanking God beforehand, they're asking for only certain high vibrational energies to be able to come in and things like that. And I never was drawn to doing that. And the reason in my mind was always just that I feel like my life is a walking meditation. I feel like I am always connected to the divine. I'm never not connected. So like always the messages that I get would be the relevant ones. But now what I understand is because I operated in that manner, I had a very interesting experience, which some might be like, oh, well, that was a dumb thing to do because you got yourself fooled with. And it's, that's one way of looking at it, but the way I look at it is that this was a valuable experience for me to have, to understand this about it, to understand reading energy in a more subtle way when it comes to readings as well. So when a lot of people use what's called the tarot deck, and the tarot deck has certain energy, right? It's like been established and used over and over again. Same thing with runes, right? They have a certain energy with them. And then there's oracle cards that these are created by somebody who put descriptions or pictures or art or colors on the card to hold the essence of an energy that card represents. And as you know, if you've been watching my channel, I have created a lot of my very own oracle cards and even my own tarot deck. And that allowed me to give readings based on my own energetic understanding of the symbolisms that I had observed in my experience. So, throughout the years, what I have come to know, now I knew this for a while, but I just didn't know the relevance of sharing it, And maybe there's a part of me that was a little embarrassed about sharing it because, it can totally be interpreted as like you got infiltrated and that was dumb. But like I said, I see the benefit of having had the experience, so I now I can share it because now I see the benefit of having the experience and I don't have embarrassment about it. But I think that's what was holding me back for a while. And it was my oracle that urged me to deal with that so that I could talk about this specific topic. And one of the things that I learned is that when you watch pick-a-card readings online, or sometimes even when you're doing your own readings, you can read the energy of desire if desire is the strongest energy. So, we can have a reality that's matching the beliefs we have. But even if we don't believe something, if our desire is strong enough for it, that can be the thing to make it manifest. Desire is very powerful manifestation ingredients, right? It's like really magnet. It's a good magnet. It's a strong magnet. So sometimes when you watch pick-a-card readings, when I have watched pick-a-card readings, it would be that I would be attracted to a reading that showed me my desire. So whatever this reader is interpreting in the cards is being read back to me as if it's my fortune or my reading, But what it's actually reading is my desire. So that comes from within me. So desire, I had to study this a little bit and dance around it a bit and try to chew on it some to understand it better. And because at first I didn't know, like, is desire always born from our egoic coping measures? Is desire egoic? And I kind of think that I guess I don't really know the answer to that definitively. I feel like I've had more clarity on it at moments, so maybe that's not supposed to be even in this talk. I just kind of went in this direction. But one thing I know about desire is that if you have a lot of desire and there was resistance that was stronger than the desire and the desire never got met, that desire can feel very, 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 very strong. Now, in particular, me, an experience that I've had is like desire for a certain man. And it was like I had to burn it off by being disappointed and rejected by that man. And really like cry it out. And like, and it took a lot. And now, you know, I still actually feel love for that man. But now it's like so much more pure because my desire got burnt away. And what it revealed to me was this beautiful fact that I love this person. I don't need to possess this person. I want the best for this person, and this person is not mine to possess or have or hold on to. It's like a butterfly, right? Like, it's like God is so beautiful and I adore it, and I'm so honored that it would come land next to me. That's more like now. And that feels very pure. So, and I'm not saying that desire is bad, right? Because like desire is kind of sensual and sexy and all of that when in certain circumstances, and that's nice to indulge in. But I feel like we can't really let desire run the show. Like I guess we can. Every time I say something like we can't, blah blah blah, I flash back to this man. It's that man, correcting me. He would always say. He would always correct me. I would say, you can't do that. And he'd be like, you know, you can. And it's like, yeah, technically you're right. And I actually always liked that because it just showed that his mind was willing to look at another point of view. And I like my awareness expanded, so I enjoyed that. So anyway, it's not that you can't live by your desire alone, but if you are living by your desire alone, I think it can run you into places that aren't in the highest good of all. And also, like, will that burn out eventually? And then, like, what's beneath that? If it was nothing beneath that to sustain it, and now you're in a relationship with someone that you desired, eek. But if you have something besides the desire, like pure love, like, you know, something like that, a bond, you know, then it seems like that's a good container to experience desire within, you know? These are just my thoughts on it. So back to this topic. I wonder if I'm being derailed for a reason, but let's see. Okay, so desire was one thing that I realized I was getting feedback on in my readings. If I would, not as much if I would do the readings myself, but if I would consume them on the YouTube, and just let myself be drawn to one. And there's a reason for that, right? I pulled a bunch of tickets out because I was kind of feeling the push to share here, and I wanted to know, like, what about why. And I got these type things, like specialness, like this need and want to be special can be one of the things that draw you to certain readings, like readings that are, say, like, what are your skills and talents? What do people say about you behind your back? What do people admire about you. Like if you're watching readings like that, like there may be a little part of you that is trying to recognize its own specialness, and that's a desire, right, from within your own energy that could be read, which may or may not reflect the truth. You know, however it best serves you would be the case, in my opinion. The other thing is, people who know about energy, we've heard about things like evil eye, black magic, some people might call it voodoo, but spells, I've talked about how just words are spells, speaking things into existence. So like even gossip could write a shady spell onto somebody's life, right? And so the more belief you have in your ability to do this, the better you would be at it. And you could only affect a target that had a weakness to it. But, you know, there are people who are in the lower realms, greed, jealousy, envy, wrath, things like this, who are using this type of projection of energy as an overlay. So then you can get a reading that is reading that projection that somebody has put towards your energy. And actually it's so beautiful, because you know what? If you do a pick a card and you're being shown an energy, like the reading is giving you some feedback, and it seems weird and off and like, or maybe harmful or hurtful or confusing, any of those things, that could be some shade. And what you're getting to see is the shade somebody's throwing. And if you get to see what shade they're throwing, then you can kind of know like who might be throwing it and what they're trying to achieve, if you know what they're throwing. Now, some people are more clever than others. You know, it depends on how clever you are and how deep you want to dig into this. And personally, for a long time, I was not inclined to dig into it, because my mind doesn't work that way. I knew how to manipulate and I knew how to strategize, but I would never do it to like that degree, to try to like have some long-term intricate plan, or just like putting myself in someone else's shoes. I might go to the first degree, and you know, old days me might go to the first degree in an argument, just like alluding to maybe ruining the reputation of my boyfriend by sharing the truth with people about how he treated me. Like, that would be my level of manipulation. Threatening to tell the truth because I know it would make them worry about their reputation. Like, that's a power struggle game. That's something I wouldn't do today, but that was my, you know, way of manipulating. There are people who will go much deeper, much more intricate, and much more... To me, it's like, if you're doing that, then you're really wasting a lot of your time and energy on somebody else's life, and that's time that you could be putting into bettering your own life. So to me, it's like insane that people would actually be spending time doing that, you know? Because all it does, what it actually ends up doing, so a person like me, if I had experienced that, someone throwing shade of an energy and I'm looking at it, and over time I'm seeing like how that looks, right? And I'm discerning what is that, and what is my messages from spirit, and what is my messages from desire. And I'm discerning all these things, which is just getting me better and better and better at discerning subtle energy. And it's just keying me in to the fact that that is a game some people are playing. And then making me realize, oh, there is a good way to use that type of technique. Thank you for the idea. You know what I mean? So it's really not effective for them, and not worthwhile, and not a real danger to you, But if you are experiencing something like that, if there is somebody trying to manipulate your perception, that says perception manipulation, uh, um, you may be experiencing confusion. You may be experiencing exhaustion, fatigue, apathetic kind of feelings. Just, you may be kind of easily pushed back into an addiction that you were trying to overcome when you're tired. Just like you easily slip back in or something. Just like only if you have a weakness to it. So only if you don't fully know yourself. And a lot of us are still in process of knowing ourselves. So again, this will serve you in a way because it lets you know who you really are when you see how you handle this situation, right? Like me in this situation, I don't send back any dark magic. I don't retaliate in any way. You know what I do? I alchemize the energy and I send it back. So I say, okay, this person might benefit from some Christ consciousness infused in their energy here, so I'm going to clean it up for them, undo every misunderstanding that would cause them to act in this way, and then gently allow that energy to return to sender. And that means it's like a Trojan horse. What I've done is I've put a little Trojan horse in their own energy, because I have the right to deflect any energies that I don't want coming towards me, right? Like that, I'm allowed to not agree to have that in my energy. But I am agreeing to have it in my energy when I alchemize. And I wouldn't recommend spending all your time alchemizing if it's not something that you naturally do. My body naturally alchemizes because I've lived on Earth many, many, many times and my central channel is open. So energy in me, I can do it real quick. I wouldn't want to set anyone up for doing this if it's not something that like is a behind the scenes operation that goes on without taking their consciousness away from what they're focused on, right? Like I'm not consciously acknowledging each shady energy that gets thrown out and like dissecting it and rearranging it and sending it back like a neat package. No, my energy is already set up to alchemy, and it just happens automatically because I set that intention. And it's like if I was a phone and I was running on my battery, it would be like a background app that uses a very little small amount of battery. That's what the operation of the alchemy to manipulation intended, a manipulation, a perception, manipulation, intention that comes my way. So also, I think this is saying like it's coming from someone you think is a friend, someone that acts like a friend. So I just want you to be aware that if you feel drained around someone, if someone is always trying to manipulate you through your emotions, if someone seems to get a little bit happier or more at ease when you're down, if someone is always needing your help, is always looking at the downside or just needing you to do something for them, or kind of acting like, how dare you do that? Like just manipulating and trying to dictate how you feel in any way. Like how dare you do that, or you know better than that, or oh, that's just like you. Like all of that is power plays, and those would kind of be clues as to what kind of person would be doing this. Now, some people might do this kind of thing below the level of their own awareness. They go into another group and they talk bad about you, or complain about you, or wish something on you, and maybe they don't even know that they're spelling something. But in this case, I think someone does know that they're doing it, and they are probably really having a lot of fun with you otherwise and trying to celebrate life. And also, I think they or you are identifying as an archetype. So we have these archetypes on Earth. Angel, healer, visionary, hero, victim, yada, 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 right? All these archetypes. And if we start identifying as an archetype, we could like get kind of blindsided and not realize that we're like pigeonholing ourselves, holding ourselves to some certain standard, when an archetype is something that we're here to alchemize as well, because we're not just one archetype. Humans are capable of all the energy, right? Like, why would we limit ourselves to one thing? And as far as like if it's because we want to be special, like the angel archetype is one that's coming to mind. Utilizing the angel archetype for self because we want to be special. It's pretty normal for humans to want to be special, because specialness gets the attention that we need. It gets our recognition. It makes us feel important. Feeling a sense of importance of being on Earth is really vital to our existence. But I would suggest that we're special, and the specialness that we are is the essence of who we are from our heart. And that actually shines best when we strip away all of the other stuff. The beliefs and the thoughts and the desires and the stuff that is strategized and manipulative. Because not only are other people doing it to themselves and others, but we can do it to ourselves as well. And who we are is what we are, and who we are when we are present. When we're not strategizing or thinking about it, or it's just being. This essence can flow out. And like when you're in the flow state, you're also the essence of who you are, right? Because you're living out something that's like your passion, which is not the same as desire. Your passion is flowing out from your heart, and you feel like you lose track of time when you're doing that thing. And it's just like what you're meant to do. And we all have our own essence. And so your essence is important, your essence is important, your essence is special, your essence is special. Like, and if everyone's special, then why would specialness be even a thing, right? It's only our ego that really clings on to that and needs that. But while you have it, if you need it, you use it. And same thing for desire. If you need to be in the desire, like before I burnt out the desire, I was in the desire. I let myself feel the desire. I just eventually realized, okay, I will get stuck here if I don't kind of like pull myself out and look at this logically for a minute. And after doing that many, many, many times, and I'm talking like for more than a year of like doing that with myself, I feel like it was many, many, many lifetimes of desire to burn off. And there was no like physical interactions with this person for the most part at that time. It was all based on memory, energy, maybe telepathic bond and things like that. But that was also being manipulated by people who understood that there was a risk of them losing this person in the way that they had them. So same kind of situation I'm talking about here, where someone who was close to that person kept kind of messing with the situation that was going on energetically between us. And I think it's something that I'm being urged to talk about now because, it doesn't have any power over me now, but anyone else that it might still be affecting will be greatly helped by just becoming aware that this is a possibility and that it may be happening, and then to strengthen themselves in a way that makes it so that they're not susceptible to that anymore. So like, where is that weakness that they're getting in on? what is it that they're, and usually it's going to be some sort of coping mechanism that's been put in place in order to avoid a deep hurt feeling that probably happened with mother. Or mother may also have been manipulating the emotional body. Maybe to just get you to behave, or to get you to, I don't know exactly, right? But like, this type of thing can cause that as a susceptible spot as we grow into adulthood. And then certain people who have this manipulation tactic on the 3D level, you know, sure, they're pains in our asses, but on a soul level, they're actually helping us very much, and they're playing an important role for us, and we thank them, right? Like I am so grateful to anyone who messed with my energy or my perception, or because it grew me, it strengthened me, it caused me to go, this is fucked up. I gotta check in with my heart and see what's going on in here, because this is the only thing I can really trust anymore. And then it's like, oh, well, now I know myself because I was forced to go in, which was the only stable place left. If I was going to read the outside energy, it was like chaos because it was being manipulated. And that forced me to go inward, and then like in there it was like, oh, this is peace, this is love, this is me. I like this. I love this. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Because I wouldn't have found my way in if out there wasn't so effed up. You know? So, on the one hand, yeah, we can say, oh, I'm a victim to this person messing with me, boo-hoo-hoo. And I'm not trying to be a jerk to anyone who might be in the place of needing to cry it out, because that's valid and real. But then you, on a soul level, it's like that person is serving you. They actually have probably a contract to have acted out their karma on you, and for you to benefit from it. You know, ultimately. It could have gone another way, right? Like if I found out about it and said, poor me, and acted like a victim and, you know, went down for the count, you know, I probably wouldn't have kept up my end of the bargain, because my end of the bargain was to stand tall and to show that, hey, what you're doing is pointless and you're actually just making me better and better. So maybe your soul wants you to realize that and change your ways. Maybe. Hold on. So in that way we serve each other, and it's a beautiful divine orchestration, and I love it. But it is possible and easy, and I wouldn't have had to spend so long in the experience if I had understood that it was a possibility, that it was happening that way, which I didn't. Because all along the way, every layer, I was healing something in me, because I did know that if I was confused or if I was bothered, that it meant there was something in me. So I just always looked back at me, and every time I would heal something, and every time that would clear the filter over my view. And after doing it just so many times, I just cleared enough that it was like, oh, now I see. You know? So if you have the situation, I don't bypass it logically and go, oh, well, I'm just going to cut this person out because it's probably them, and going to pretend that weakness in me doesn't exist. So I'll just cut out the person. It's like, no, this is an energetic thing here, and you don't want to sell yourself short and not do the inner work and not heal the so-called weakness or the misunderstanding within yourself that allowed it to infiltrate in the first place, because that's what it was for. And if you just cut that person out, maybe there's another person lined up that will do the same thing just to show you, right? That's looping karma. Karma loops until you neutralize it and understand it and zero point it out. I'm going to take a sip of water, and then I'm going to see if there's anything else about this topic. So like, as far, one thing that I cleared up in me is like, you know, this understanding that, yeah, when I was succumbing to my own want to manipulate, before I understood and healed that part of me, trying to threaten the reputation of my ex by sharing the truth publicly about how he treated me. That in itself is a manipulation tactic, and that was a power struggle, and that was my karma. So seeing that come back around to me in a bigger, stronger way was just sort of like reassurance for me that, yeah, I don't believe in that game. That's not really fruitful. It's just a perpetuation of war, and I don't believe in war. And that is how I knew not to keep it going, not to retaliate, not to throw it back harder, or try to mess with them in any way, but to alchemize it and take the high road and just be done with that kind of bullshit. Alright, anything else about this spirit? Most High, beautiful, universal creator, who has gifted me with this existence. Tend to physical body. Yeah, I know. Okay, so this type of thing can also take a toll on you physically if you're spending all your time perceiving subtle energy. It's very taxing on your resources. And those resources, your physical body needs some of those to survive, so you can't use them all on your processing of energy in the mental body. You saw how I stopped and took some water. Water is one of our resources. It's really important. Exercise, sunlight, nature, healthy food. When I say healthy, I just mean anything that's from the earth that's not processed. This says helpless and war. So, helpless came out, and then Era, which is an asteroid that signifies war, and apply effort. So, say you've had this kind of experience and you're really worn out, you're exhausted, it's been, some people could refer to it as spiritual warfare, and it makes you tired. And it's like, yeah. And maybe some of what you're healing is your nervous system, so that requires rest. But when you feel helpless to change the situation, you will not change it. It literally just takes standing up for yourself and not agreeing to it anymore. Knowing that you have worth and that what you want or don't want matters, especially when it comes to your own body and your own energy. Energetically, you can totally say, all set. All set. Thanks anyway. And it's as simple as that. No one is helpless in the face of any perception manipulation. And that brings me to this other thing. This isn't just on a peer-to-peer basis that this is happening. This perception manipulation happens through marketing ads on television, commercials, anything with subliminal stuff put into it, the repetition that happens on news stories and news channels, all kinds of perception manipulation in our lives. So all of it serves us a purpose of the contrast of who I am and who I'm not. And what that takes is really getting in tune with your body. So your body's got to be the vessel that you use to navigate it. Like, I need to know when that doesn't feel right in my body. My body will tell me if that's not good for me. And so tending to your physical body and keeping in tune with it and listening to it is going to build the relationship with your body so that you can trust your body when you get that gut feeling and it's a no. And you listen and you're just like, yeah, I'm listening to that no. That's a no from me, dog. I am here. I am in tune with my body, and my body is saying, I'm not helpless to this. I don't need to engage with this. I'm just going to have to say no thanks. I kind of lost my train of thought there when I made the joke about it's a no from me, dog. I'm sure that I got that from another reader, but I know they got it from like American Idol or something like that. That threw me off when I fell into the mimic program. That's okay. Alright, so, tending to the physical body, we're not helpless. Okay, yeah. We're not helpless because we have this vessel which is our guide. Our body, the relationship we have with our body is so important because it can guide us. And whatever effort can be put forth, so like turning off the television, deciding not to only scroll like 15 minutes a day, whatever effort you can apply to your life to lessen the impact of your perception being manipulated so that you can identify who you are and not as that archetype and not in the mimic like I just took on, right? Like I said something that someone else said one time that kind of hit me as amusing, and I reused that. And I don't think that's terrible, but like that's not necessarily me. That's why I kind of got all... Because probably there's someone watching this that's throwing shade right now, so... I also heard, when I just said that, I also heard someone say, oh, don't you think you're special? Yeah, but you are too. Okay. Alright, anything else? Oh, so you're not helpless, but the decision is yours on how you handle this. Like, am I going to go into victim mode and say that I am a victim to this? Or am I going to be present with the feelings of being victimized and then get above it and discern how I'm going to navigate? There's a particular person that you should be aware of. Wow, it really does want me to drive it home that you should not leave this reading without considering that there is a specific person who's been triggering you and exploiting you through triggering you. You know, whenever somebody triggers me, I do take it as a gift because I like to know when I have a trigger because I know how to alchemize my traumas and heal them. And the way I become aware of them is when I get triggered in them. So, this is not saying that it's bad that you're being triggered or that you can't get the gold out of the situation. But it is saying, like, be aware that there is a person who's actually doing it in an effort to exploit you. They know your buttons and they are pushing. And you can get all the gold from that situation by being present with each and every wound that is brought up into your awareness. So acknowledge it. How do I feel right now? How are they trying to make me feel? How do I feel? Okay. Why do I feel this way? Validate it for yourself. Accept that this is the case. And then be present with the feeling. Okay? I feel angry. I feel helpless. Helpless. They're trying to make you feel helpless. They're trying to make you fight. They're fighting with you and tying your hands so that you can't even defend yourself because it would be wrong and bad of you to defend yourself. This is a very sneaky so-called companion. Dang. Dang. They're kind of also exploiting your want to be special. You are special. You don't need this person to, who cares what they think at this point? They think they have this all on you because what they did was they identified, they knew where your buttons were, and they pushed them to their own delight and to serve their own purposes. And mostly to keep you trapped. To keep you from what? What do you think it is? Just attached to them? Yeah. There's a particular person in your life who is exploiting you, and by triggering you, making you feel helpless, causing a fight and making you feel helpless to change it. Oh my God, that's so insidious. Okay. But you're not powerless. You are not powerless in the situation. Look, first instinct when you find something out about this, when it kind of clicks in and you're like, shit, that's true, is to want to retaliate, to want to lash out. I've done all that, like I've gotten angry, like I've described in an older video that when I found out my boyfriend was like literally talking to girls in the middle of the night while I was sleeping and stuff, that after he moved in my house, that I would bang a pot on the wall to try to get him to move out. I regret that. Like, I wish that I just made him move out, and if he wouldn't leave, just call my brother or something, like, I just wish that I kept my energy to myself and took the high road, just cause, I don't want to add more war to the world. That's not who I am. So know who you are and proceed with the essence of who you are. And if there's a hurt version of you that wants to act out, I would welcome you to try to make a promise to yourself, if it feels right, that you won't harm yourself or anyone else. And then you can proceed, right? There might be appropriate time and place to get out anger. At the gym, in a punching bag, writing. Oh, writing. Write a letter that you don't send. Tell them exactly what you think of them, and then don't send it, rip it up, and walk away. It's like, sometimes we feel so tied to people, and sometimes we've tied ourselves to people, because there was a situation one time when I wanted to leave, and I had like made this agreement where he financed a car for me and I would give him rides because he didn't have a license. And I screwed myself, right? Because I wanted to honor my integrity and my commitment, but I also wanted this person out of my effing life. So what was the solution is that I had to just pick me when I let him kick me a lot before I just said, all right, F this, I'm picking me. That was it. I don't give a crap what you did. You did it under the guise of being a loving partner to me, when actually that's never what you were. And that's kind of the case here. It's like, it was false pretenses that the whole arrangement was made on, right? Like, you thought this was a companion to you. This wasn't. This wasn't a companion to you, because you could plop any person in the role that you're in this person's life, and they would treat them the same way. Practice and hopeful. If you don't have faith, at least have hope, and practice with it. It's saying sometimes there's a part of you that doesn't feel hopeful, and so you've got to remind that part of you. Like, put up a sign in your room, in your bathroom, on your mirror. There's every reason in the world to have hope, or don't forget how important you are to me, meaning you are important to yourself, right? And not only yourself, by the way, this world, because your essence is needed for the soup that we're all making when we come forth with our authentic selves. You are beautiful. And the more beauty that you can focus on in the world, in yourself, in the surroundings, the more you will be able to see. Because you've been in a darker place, you've been played with quite a bit, you've been probably lost in a lot of wounding patterns. So don't forget, it's a beautiful place. There will be an ending to those cycles, and that's by your choice when you apply effort to it and end it. And you will end the interference. And know that when you do end it, that this person might still cause interference in the way that I told you before, in the energy, kind of, you know, and it depends on how sensitive to energy you are, whether you can feel their gossip or hate or sadness or anger, whatever it is. But when you have doubts, it's saying listen to them. And the reason is because even if the doubt was about your worthiness for something, listen to that part of you, because that part of you needs your love, right? Because it's not true. You know, logically it's not true that you're not worthy of what you desire or are working for. And if you have doubts, then you want to kind of like neutralize those by being present with, well, acknowledging, validating why the doubt is there, accepting that it's there, and then being present with the emotion that is associated with it, that it's been anchoring it in. But also, in this case, if you have doubts about a person, if you've had doubts all along, the red flags that you've been trying to push away and ignore, or you've been too busy dealing with your own triggers or trying to understand why you always feel so helpless and at war with this person, right? Listen to those doubts now. Listen, because those doubts have been there for a reason. You can trust yourself. You actually can trust yourself. Imagine that. One more. Aww. I mean, when when I have bashful come out, I just picture you, this person who's been sort of like in this crux of all the old stuff being poked and prodded and exploited in you. And then like what you're doing is rescuing this little bashful child part of you that might emerge unsure, you know, that might emerge like wanting to know it's okay and is protected and not, you know, just bashful. But willing at a pace that is appropriate. Oh. I just want to send my love. Yeah, I'm kind of getting a little bit speechless about this because I kind of just tapped into the energy even more and kind of feel, and I'm just going to let you go with that because I just don't know that I can share the rest of what I'm feeling and thinking at this point, but maybe someday, you know. You got this. Your soul got this. Your soul came for this. Your soul thankful for this. Yeah. Shiny, shiny soul. That's all for now.